guardian god of the Chow, and Kyogre, the legendary sea basin Pokemon. Welcome, homies, to our first ever commissioned duel via my Cash App. Shit, plug. Today, we have a titanic battle between the god of destruction. Not you, Beerus. Stop showing up in my Pokemon mashups. Damn. And the personification of the seas. So, without further ado, welcome to Fiction Duel. Essentially being the god of the ocean and having water-type moves that could rival Groudon's earth-shattering attacks, Kyogre has a slew of attacks befitting of a legendary Pokemon. It possesses moves like Water Spout, which competitive players should be painfully aware of, Thunder, to call upon the heavens to smite targets with a slight chance of paralyzation, and Frosty moves like Ice Beam to freeze enemies in their tracks. Despite it causing storms that could make El Niño seem like El Bebé in comparison, Kyogre possesses some forms of utility, like Aqua Ring to heal itself, Calm Mind to raise special attack / special defense, and even Scary Face to lower speed. Despite all these moves, they pale in comparison to Kyogre's primal form. With the power of the Blue Orb, Kyogre's Drizzle turns into Primordial Sea, an ability that summons permanent rain that leaves fire-based moves completely washed up. Not only does it gain a massive increase across most stats, it also gains its signature move, Origin Pulse, that deals massive AoE damage across an entire area. Well, it looks like I should leak the insight to our next segment. A being composed of liquid chaos energy, Chaos can morph their body in a multitude of ways. They stretch out their limbs to smack opponents, launch water-based projectiles, and morph into a giant water boulder straight out of Indiana Jones. Once they start to tap into the negative energy of the Chaos Emeralds, they start to evolve into a multiple nightmare-inducing forms. The previously mentioned Chaos Zero form is their weakest state, but is still causing small earthquakes and can utilize moves like Chaos Bind to freeze opponents and Chaos Guard for extra defense. Chaos 2 can split into hundreds of water-based projectiles. Chaos 4 can emit energy waves, alongside Chaos 6, which has a vacuum breath attack. And last but not least, we have Perfect Chaos, their strongest form yet. This form is colossal in size. It comes with water tendrils and energy beams that can stagger the likes of Supersonic. Just how strong is Supersonic? We shall find out soon enough. Of course, we have basic statements like the call stating Perfect Chaos was going to destroy the world, and we see Chaos seemingly flood an entire city, comfortably putting our Liquid Boy at Planetary. But of course, we can go much higher. Perfect Chaos was shown to be too much for Sonic in his base form, so he had to resort to his super form via the Chaos Emeralds. Towards the end of the adventure timeline in Sonic 06, Sonic, in his super form, is able to defeat Solaris, who is described as a super-dimensional being or a transcendent being that eats dimensions for lunch. This is supported by the fact in the Sonic Shuffle game, the imaginary world is described as an infinite fourth-dimensional space, and the Sonic universe contains multiple timelines and universes that are infinite in size. Solaris, in his second form, was stated to be able to destroy all of time and space, which is a universal plus feat, mind you, making perfect chaos, potentially, at their best, low complex multiversal with fifth dimensional scaling with the extra dimensional statements in mind. If you've seen my Rayquaza vs Mewtwo fiction duel, then you should be quite familiar with Kyogre, and that he would scale towards other legendaries. Before I start, I just want to make it clear that whatever I state in this video will not contradict what I stated in my other Pokemon related videos. I will put Rayquaza several layers above the likes of Groudon and Kyogre alike in terms of power and speed. Are we clear? Then let's get cooking, brothers. Kyogre, towards his statements of being able to flood the earth and cause a constant downpour across the entire Pokemon world. If we take other forms of Pokemon media in mind, Moby Dick over here can have extra dimensional scaling. Gardevoir in its Pokedex entry states that she can twist dimensions and create a black hole. This is further supported by her fighting game counterpart in Pokken Tournament. Keep in mind that black holes are more than just wells of gravity that light can't even escape from. They're dimensional objects that consist of 4 spatial dimensions. This is supported by the fact that the Pokedex entry implies that Gardevoir is literally twisting dimensions, end quote, making this a universal plus feat, at least in terms of hacks. In the Pokemon trading card game Twisted Fates, Mega Alakazam was stated to unify 2 worlds. If we interpret this as 2 universes coming together thanks to his psychic might, and the given context of feats performed by the mentioned Pokemon, this would put Kyogre at Universal Plus to Low Multiversal. We could reach the extra dimensional tier of strength if we take into account the Hoopa Pokemon movie, and Kyogre's at a relative level to the Pokemon shown on the screen, including the Creation Trio. This is impressive since the aforementioned Ultra Space consists of countless infinite worlds combined with the existence of space-time. This would put Bubbles in his primal state, Multiversal Plus, and even low complex multiversal considering the distortion world, aka Giratina's Dimension, is described as extra dimensional, another 5th dimensional feat. For speed, even if we downplay both C parties, they would easily be FTL plus, even without the dimensional scaling in mind. Solaris was described as existing in the past, present, and future. This means supersonic speed would have to go beyond linear time to interact with Solaris. Also, if we take the game Sonic Generations into account, Sonic was able to contend with the Time Eater, who can move across time and space, and Sonic was able to restore the timeline with his raw speed alone, granting Chaos immeasurable speed. As for Kyogre, as mentioned in my Shenron vs Beerus video, Kyogre could have infinite speed thanks to the Necrozma scaling. However, as I mentioned to Giratina, in their distortion world, the concept of direction does not exist, and the dimension exists beyond traditional time and space. The distortion world itself was created by a part of Giratina's power, which he has dominion over, putting Kyogre as well into the immeasurable speed tier. Chaos was able to hold their own against Knuckles, who is a master of martial arts. Thanks to their fluid-based body, Chaos can regenerate from almost anything. The key word being, almost. Chaos's body is susceptible to ice-based attacks, and the lobe located in its head is a weak spot that can destabilize Chaos's bodily structure. As for Kyogre, we have it being millions of years old, and for it to be able to stand its ground against its continental rival Groudon. It is clear that these gods of the sea have waited long enough for conflict to arise. So, without further ado, let the duel commence.
3, 2, 1.
Fight!
This battle takes place in Angel Island, where the Master Emerald is located. It appears that the blue orb used to summon Kyogre made its way to Angel Island, and it got into the hands of one of the Chow. The result is that the sky begins to darken as rain clouds blacken the sky as Angel Island shakes via the energy from the blue orb. Chaos notices that the Chow are frightened and investigates what's causing the disturbance. Chaos witnesses the emergence of Kyogre from the depths of the ocean. So, Chaos realizes that the only way this disaster will stop is if he eliminates Kyogre once and for all. Kyogre acknowledges Chaos coming towards him and retaliates. The two combatants splash on as this fiction duel begins now. Our given analysis, both fighters have similar origins and power sets. They can harness water/energy based attacks and possess healing capabilities. However, it seems that Chaos's regen seems a lot more reliable than Algaring in comparison, and its Zero form at least has viable arsenal for close quarters combat. Some say that Chaos Bind is an insta-win for this duel. One thing to consider is that Kyogre is a water type, Pokemon who naturally have resistance to ice-based attacks, and the fact that Chaos Bind can be broken out by weaker characters. Kyogre should break free sooner than later. Plus, while Chaos's utility is temporary, Kyogre's options are a lot more permanent, chance-based, but should be super effective. Not to mention, Kyogre has the advantage when it comes to experience, as Chaos is only a few thousand years old, while Kyogre is millions of years old. Plus, the most crucial deciding factor on who wins this fight is the fact that Kyogre's ice-based attacks can perfectly immobilize Chaos's body if given the chance, and due to Kyogre's attacks being able to affect a large area, Kyogre should eventually figure out Chaos's weak point being its head. In conclusion, while both Atlantic beasts are equal in many areas and should reasonably give each other a hard time, Kyogre's elemental advantages and superior experience should give it the edge it needs to be the winner of this fiction duel. That's all for today's video, homies. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Fiction Duel and our first ever commission video by Keep Talking 8215. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more content, and show some love for our commissioner because you might donate for a matchup someday in the description below. Until next time, keep on creating. See you around.